New York will remain a city of immigrants, a city built by immigrants, powered by immigrants, and as of tonight, led by an immigrant.
How in the world is a non-American Muslim the mayor of New York City? I gotta rent to this. Turn on that notification bell, man. All right, the verdict is in. The man himself has won. Now, put in the comments what you think, because I'm not even gonna lie. Part of me wants to say this is what the liberals get. The ones who vote in people like this because they believe everybody should have a chance to take leadership roles, right? I think this is what you get. You get a guy like this who's gonna take advantage of your equality for everything and everybody and everyone that has a freaking voice. That is not reality. Everybody does not need to hold space in these specific areas. There are leaders that need to be and leaders that need not to be. But liberals and universalists and people who want to be able to let everybody do what they want and be able to take turns as leadership roles, you know, those type of people who just sit back and let people destroy their society and then are quiet because they voted the guy in that's destroying their society. Give them what they want. Fine. Congratulations. This is what you asked for. So when this Mamdani guy shows you his true colors and starts to come out doing weird stuff, we are going to say we told you so. This is going to single-handedly be an eye opener or an eye closer for those who voted the man in. Because, you know, people are going around screaming and parading and cheering. But as soon as this stuff start going left field, we know they ain't gonna be nowhere to be found. They're gonna be silent while we, right, are gonna be the ones to come in and clean up the mess. Thank God this man only has 4 years and then he's out of here. But I want to say, let's give him a chance because we have to. We have no choice. He has to have a chance because he won. So I've been to New York a few times. I do think New York needs help. Is this the guy to do it? And while these things are in his hand, is his Islamic theology going to take hold? Because he constantly keeps mentioning Islamophobia. And I'm telling you, the moment this guy starts to try to start passing stuff for Muslims and like, it's going to be a problem because it's going to slowly build. It's going to go from point to point to point to point to where eventually he's going to start down here and then he's going to be up here with his Islamic stuff. And everyone at that point is going to see why we should never vote a point one non-American. He's not even American. So I don't even think this guy respects American values. Point two, a non-American Muslim. How in the world is a non-American Muslim the mayor of New York City? You can't make this up. But I'm gonna pray for New York, and I'm gonna pray for those people who voted this guy in, and I'm gonna hope that it works out. I don't see how it's gonna work out, but I'm gonna hope that this stuff works out and we do not see what's taking place in London taking place in New York.
New York will remain a city of immigrants, a city built by immigrants, powered by immigrants, and as of tonight, led by an immigrant.
Yeah, what in the liberal bleep is going on, dude? What did he just say? I gotta play that again, bro.
New York will remain a city of immigrants, a city built by immigrants, powered by immigrants, and as of tonight, led by an immigrant.
There's so many problems with part of this statement in his speech. I have the hope that this dude and his Islamic theology does not get in the way of him and all of the other people that are not Muslim in New York, right? Because part of this speech, he did mention some stuff about Islamophobia, which the word just keeps coming out of his mouth. And I really honestly think he's just using that to have a chokehold on the Muslims. Right? I really honestly don't think he really cares about the Islamic worldview and etc. Right? That's just my general opinion. But there are multiple issues with what he just said right here, is because you have to be careful with just letting the gates open to immigration. We love immigrants, yes, but you have to be careful because there are people who come over here and they do not hold the same values as Americans do. And I feel some type of way about this guy not even being a natural born American. He's not even an American, and yet he's able to be the mayor of New York. There's just something wrong with that. And I don't think that this guy holds full on American values, just coming from some of the stuff that he said and he's mentioned in these speeches. So with that being said, New York, I'm praying for y'all. Let's hear what Trump got to say.
Congressional Democrats wish to do to America. Just look at the result of yesterday's election in New York, where their party installed a communist as the mayor of the largest city in the nation. Remember, I've said we will never have a socialist elected to any post in our country. I used to say that, and I was right. We skipped socialist and we put in a communist instead. That didn't work out too well. But as I've warned for many years, our opponents are hell-bent on turning America into a communist Cuba or socialist Venezuela, and you see what happened to those places. For generations, Miami has been a haven for those fleeing communist tyranny in South Africa. I mean, if you take a look at what's going on in parts of South Africa, look at South Africa, what's going on. Look at South America, what's going on. You know, I'm not going to, we have a G20 meeting in South Africa. South Africa shouldn't even be in the Gs anymore because what's happened there is bad. I'm not going. I told them I'm not going. I'm not going to represent our country there. It shouldn't be there. Take a look at what's happening in different parts of South America. Take a look at what's happening in different parts of the world. But now the Democrats are so extreme that Miami will soon be the refuge for those fleeing communism in New York City. They flee. They flee. Where do you live? New York City, but I'm trying to leave because I don't want to live in a communist regime. I hope it works out for New York. I love New York. I love New York. When I left New York for the White House, it was good, except we had, you know, the telltale signs of trouble because we had a guy named de Blasio. Do you ever hear of him as mayor? He goes down as probably the worst mayor in history. Then he went to Harvard to teach government. Do you believe it? They took de Blasio, and they took that mayor from Chicago, the woman, the one that gets her hair done very expensively, right? Beautiful hair. She got beautiful, luxuriant hair. And they took her, and she's teaching at Harvard. They're teaching government. And then you hear about Harvard. We're trying to work a settlement with Harvard right now for about, like, a lot of money. I won't tell you what, but you'll be reading about it pretty soon. Because what they've done to Jewish people and what they've done to others is pretty bad, I'll tell you. It's pretty bad. Going to cost them a lot of money. After last night's results, the decision facing all Americans could not be more clear. We have a choice between communism and common sense. Does that make sense to you? Common sense. It's common sense or communism. And, you know, you take a look back 1,000 years, it hasn't worked. If it worked, we'd be using it, I guess, but it hasn't worked. Our opponents are offering an economic nightmare. We're delivering an economic miracle. We have delivered in 9 months. This is the biggest investment of funds in a country in history by many times. That's good. They want higher spending for government and illegal aliens. We want bigger paychecks for American workers and American families, and that's what we're delivering. You see that? They stand for crime and chaos and corruption. We stand for law and order and justice. Also, strong borders. Boy, do we have strong borders. They put America last. We put America first. We put America first.
I got to rent to this.
Turn on that notification bell, man.